But David, many stocks in the U.S. are down. There are a few stocks that are going through the roof every day. I mean, some parts of the U.S. market are developing a market, beginning of a bubble, but many parts of the market are not. That's why I would suspect this is going to go on for a while. Japanese market is down 30% from its all-time high, and the Bank of Japan buys ETFs. It prints huge amounts of money and buys ETFs every day. David, he has more money than I do. If he's going to buy ETFs, so am I, and the market's down. Likewise in China, the Chinese market is down 30 or 40% from its all-time high. And they've done a less bad job of dealing with all of this. So China, Japan, Russia's hated. There are markets that are still down, and I would prefer to buy those. But, they're also, commodities. Commodities may be the cheapest asset class around right now. We've had bear markets periodically for hundreds of years. We will have them again. In 2008, we had a bear market because of too much debt. Well, David, since 2008, debt everywhere in the world has skyrocketed, staggering amounts. So what I said was the next time we have a bear market, and I don't know when it's going to be, watch Kitco News. They'll tell you when it's coming. But when it comes, it's going to be the worst in my lifetime. It has to be. Because the debt is maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, you tell me why. But the debt is so much, much, much higher all over the world now than in 2008. Well, when markets start going down, when bear markets start, for whatever reason, people are very skeptical of companies that have a lot of debt, because as fear, as exuberance gives way to fear, people start worrying about will they survive or can they survive, or their earnings must go down because they have so much debt. And some companies start going bankrupt, the really bad ones, and it spreads. This is just a simple bear market now. I'm not making any of this up. It's happened hundreds of times in bear markets all over the world throughout history, and that's the way they work. As I look around the world, bonds are a bubble. Many stocks are making all-time highs. Property in many countries is certainly in a bubble. The cheapest asset class I know are commodities. Now, sugar's down 80%. Silver's down 50% from its all-time high. This is not a bubble. As I look at asset classes, at the moment, commodities seem to be the cheapest. I'm buying more commodities as we speak.
You've launched an ETF, the Rogers Commodity Index Fund, back in the 90s. What were the components of this index, and how did you decide the percentage of allocation of components when you launched this ETF?
Well, I was about to go around the world, but I realized that the commodity bull market was about to start. I wanted to invest in an index because I was going to be traveling. I looked at all the indices. None of them I wouldn't invest in any of them. They were all hopeless. So I came up with my own. There were over 35 components. And it was basically because I wanted it to be a worldwide index. Many of the indexes were pretty narrow that existed, and they were mainly U.S.-centric. I wanted something that would give international, the cost of doing business, the cost of staying alive. So there were over 35 components, and the weightings were essentially based on oil was much heavier than sugar, because we all use a lot more oil than we use sugar in our lives. Oil is in the process of making a complicated bottom. Bottoms go up and down, and go sideways for a while, and then eventually turn around and go up. We're beginning to see bottoms developing in energy because it takes a while, and because of the demand, which is down a lot, but we're making a bottom. Right. I have no idea of when it ends, 2021, 22, 23, but then it'll turn around and start going up again.
What about, let's talk about gold and silver now.
Gold is a commodity which has been around for centuries and will continue to be around for centuries, whether we like it or not. I'm an old peasant, and us old peasants know when things go wrong, we better have some gold. We better have some silver in our closet or under our bed, because it is the thing which will get us through